Yo, yo, what's going on, folks? How y'all doing? Canal here, Bulls on Wall Street. Happy Sunday. Very nice week for the markets. We had a decent bounce in the S&P the last week or so, and smack dab right into the resistance zone. So now this is kind of the key levels that we need to really watch, as this was the previous breakdown spot in the market, and so we're kind of right there. The way the market's been acting, I wouldn't be too surprised if we flushed back over it. It would seem in the absence of news, the market's actually pretty strong. It just happens to be that every time we get this Russia stuff, pop up, then we ended up taking a dive in the markets. And so that's how it's been the last year or so. In absence of news, and the market in a vacuum tends to grind higher, and then these type of geopolitical things can kind of shake everything out. But we're right at the sweet spot. So I would say a lot of the easy money is probably over here. If we got a digestion, that would really set up some nice places. There are a lot of good looking stocks out there. It's just hard to add a bunch of positions, if you were a swing trader and the market's been up, straight up for the last week or so. So if you're a swinger, that's something to be, more careful of, is you got to wait for a little bit of digestion. If you're a day trader, the action's been really good, as long as we're grinding higher and higher and these dips are getting bought as we're in a short-term uptrend. That's good. The action will be good, and then it's earnings season, so there's been a lot of stuff to play. Let's get into a look into our watch list. The CSIQ is really one of the big movers in the market last week, and we're getting into kind of one of these sweet spots. Usually a stock, even after a blowout earnings, once you get up for a few days in a row like this, you'll tend to get some type of retracement back to, your next level of support. So I'll be watching this thing. If it gaps up at the open or something like that, opens up strong, I'll be watching this kind of 34 area for a quick short or something along that end. Typically you will not see something run 4 or 5 days after earnings. It always there's a profit taking, a retracement, and then you'll start to see the next leg. So keep an eye on this bad boy. Abita, same type of deal here. I'm watching. You can see. I mean, this one's super strong stock. I mean, it's at all all-time highs and then some. Let's see if it opens up strong out of the gate again on Friday or on Monday. We will try to take a stab at this one for a potential short. Sometimes these type of rubber band shorts, you got to take a stab at it a couple times before you nail it. We tried it twice on Friday. We took a small loss and then we took like $1 gain on the other one. Nothing special. That's how it goes. You need rubber band shorts in particular. Your probabilities of hitting them are lessened, but the reward to risk ratios are really good when you actually hit it. So I'll take a stab at it again, and we'll see what's going on. CGA, this one is a blast from the past. I haven't heard from this stock in years, but it looks like we've got a base breakout here. It finally broke over the 50-day moving average, which it hasn't done in almost a year. Had some expanding volume on Friday, so we'll keep an eye on this one for tomorrow. S-Fun, this is another Chinese stock that, after a really, really strong move, we've pulled back to support here. We've got multiple layers of support here between 11 and this particular spot at the 20-day moving average. This is a bottoming pattern, and it looks like probably, if we can hold this 20-day moving average, we're going to see a pop to 13 really, really quickly. SPWR, I got this one on potential for a short if we get some weakness in the markets. You can see here we had the flat top breakout, and then after this last earnings miss, we crashed down here to 200-day moving average, and we've just had a dead cat bounce right into the old breakout spot and along with the 20-day moving average. So we got a convergence of resistance there. That could give us a decent entry if we start to see a fade in the solars. If you start to see CSIQ drop a buck or two tomorrow at the open, this one will probably be at a good spot for you to take a short in it also. KKD, after this bottoming pattern and the break over the 50-day moving average, we've retraced that gap right back to support here. I like the location of this if it can hold. Now, this is not one of them wild moving stocks, and so this is going to be one of those things that tends to kind of grind up. You buy it, you set your stop, and you let this thing develop into what it's supposed to. Your first target would be obviously 17 bucks, and then next one would be a 200-day moving average. Sohu is right at a sweet spot here. We've got a base breakout formation. It's hugging right above the 50-day moving average. I think if it comes out of this range, we're really going to get a nice pop in this bad boy. CHGG. Breakout, pullback. In a bigger picture, you can see that we're right kind of ending this, consolidation that it's been in for really months and months. It's starting to coil up here. The wide range getting tighter and tighter. Watch this move for this next week. It's almost ready. FSLR is starting to flag here. This is looking like it's going to break all-time, or highs of the year at any given moment. Ideally, a couple more days of rest would be nice, but that 70 seems to be a sweet spot. STV, we got kind of a flat top breakout over here. It does trade a little bit thin. This is kind of one of those stocks you got to add a little and then just let it play out how it needs to, because it's going to be tricky to day trade it unless you start to see all the volume start to pour in. UA, still watching this one. It's just coiling up here, tighter and tighter any day now. LVS, bear flag, after this very, very key breakdown under 70. We've had a slight retracement here, and we're starting to bear flag. If we start to get some weakness in the market, or really, anything where we just need a quick short, I think that this one's got some potential in it. I haven't traded this stock in years, but it looks pretty good over here. Vive, this was brought to me by Mr. Chris Zielinski. Look for a break under this a 22 spot. I'm only worried with this one. It doesn't have much range on it, so right now it doesn't. But if it does break down, you may see the range come in. You can see in March and April, at that time, it did have the range, and so it might just be one of those things where it's been consolidating for so long. But this breakdown could start, the ATR on this bad boy. Data is right at the sweet spot here. Any break below this level will take it to 55. FEYE still in the short zone here. That 30 level has been a really, really key spot. WPS, watching this one. This is one of those dollar stocks here, but it's right. It's right there. So you can see this thing just any day. It's going to be one of those things you're not going to be paying attention to it, and then all of a sudden it just explodes 20-30%. That's typically how it moves. But I like the location here. TK Mar was in play on Friday. Had some type of news or something along that end. So we'll keep this on watch for day trades. And then Tour, we're at the 20-day moving average. Ideally, if it could pull back even more, closer to 20, 1950-20 area, that'll give us a much better reward to risk ratio on this bad boy. But I do like the location on this one also. It's getting pretty oversold. So that's it for now, guys. I got class starting in 3 minutes, so I got to run, but I'll see everybody in the chat room mañana.